Welcome back, everyone. Sheepdog Smokey here, and it just seems that every time there is a massive statement of horrific fact about the Trump administration, we find out something new about the person who said it that proves they're a hypocrite. If you follow me on Twitter, Sheepdog Smokey, you'll know that I've often referred to Kamala Harris as Hypocrite Harris because of stories like this. Just a day after she goes all over Twitter yelling from the top of her soapbox that she is going to close the gender pay gap. It's announced that she doesn't even pay her women as much as her men. Now, before we get into this, pardon me. Pardon me, I do apologize. Before we get into this, I do want to address the pay gap is a myth. The pay gap is something that is calculated using bad math. You see, what happens is someone will say, let's look at the entire IT field. And let's look at the median income of all women and the median income of all men. And they decide, well, there's a pay gap, but there's not. When you look at IT, there is a lot to look at. There are programmers, which involve developers and researchers, people who fix bugs, people who just push out changes. There are support representatives. There are product managers. There are creative teams. There are human resources people. There are sales. There's training, and a lot more. In my company alone, we have people who handle training. We have people who handle support. That's actually broken into, multiple teams. Our developers, we have people who build the software, who test it, when it breaks, who research and fix it, and we have people who develop training implementation guides. We have trainers. We have implementation salespeople who bring new clients on. We just have salespeople who convince them to on board. And if you look at everyone as a whole, you're going to find a gap. And it's not because of men versus women. It's because for so long we've built our world on identitarian politics. And for the last probably 15 to 20 years, we've had people graduating college with gender studies degrees, or ancient Babylonian underwater basket weaving, or ancient Roman poetry. You see, people aren't getting mechanical engineering or software engineer or computer science degrees. Women, especially, are not. It's one of the few things I actually don't comment negatively on when I see something, for example, like the other day when it was the final season finale or series finale of Big Bang. Without spoiling it, there was a statement encouraging young women to stay in the science and tech fields. And I've seen it in my own hometown where young women are encouraged to go into the STEM study area. I honestly encourage everyone to go into it, but we've had our girls told for so long that that's not a woman's field. It would be like telling girls to go into contracting to swing a hammer and build a house, or telling boys to go into fabric or into clothing production, not design, because I know there are a lot of great male designers out there, but just to be sitting at a sewing machine making clothes. It would never happen. But when it comes to fields like STEM, the physical differences between men and women don't matter. Men and women can sit at a desk all day long just as well as the other one. In fact, women may actually be able to do it longer without discomfort than men. Men and women can learn to type. Men and women can learn to code. Men and women can learn to be creative. There's not a difference between the two genders when it comes to the STEM fields, because there's no need for a larger frame and greater strength when carrying a tool belt full of tools to build a house or when spreading concrete. And as I said before, I know there are exceptions to the rule. If you watch American Ninja Warrior, I believe it was 2 seasons ago, we were introduced to a young woman whose nickname is the Brass Ninja. She actually works in concrete, in the concrete tubes, with a hammer drill. She's doing work that I know guys her age can't do. And when she tells her stories, she woke up one day to being a single mother and found the best paying job there was, went out and learned how to do it. She's one of the best. And you know what? I applaud her. I don't care men or women. That's a parent wanting to do the best for the child, but it's a rarity. And coming back, STEM is not. But when you look at all of the IT world and you say, okay, divide it neatly down the middle of all men, all women, add up all their salaries, divide by how many there are. Oh my God, there's a pay gap. No, there's not. Take a senior engineer with a master's degree in computer science, developed toward coding and building of computer programs. Give them both the equal amount of experience in the field. Give them the same seniority at said company. Put them in the exact same position, not one manager over the other. You'll find there's not a pay gap. Okay? When you look at a man and a woman in the exact same position in an industry, with the same seniority, the same education, the same performance, you're not going to find a pay gap. But if you look at a salesperson who's only been with a company for 1 year versus one of their senior programmers, the senior programmer is going to make more. In my company, I work with a lot of men and a lot of women. And I know there are quite a few women who make more than me, and I've been there for a good while. I know there are men there who make more than me, and I know there are women who make less than me. And if we actually examined it, you would find that performance or education or time in grades, seniority, would be a factor. In fact, this article goes on to actually discuss this. And it goes on to find that the actual pay gap is not as big as everyone makes it out to be. In fact, as IJR previously reported, the earnings gap is 20%, but the adjusted gap is 2 cents. So instead of 80 cents on the dollar, it's 98 cents on the dollar, which, adjusting for education, seniority, performance, and so on, is expected. But you see, Democrats, liberals, however you want to say it, don't care about facts and the truth. This is a hot button issue. Just as ranting about choice when it comes to Alabama is a hot button issue. Or Kamala Harris, who has made statements that President Trump should not use executive orders because that bypasses Congress, yet she's already promised she will do just that unless Congress just bends over backwards to obey her in her first 100 days, should she win the presidency. If they don't, she will just implement gun control. All of them are hypocrites, and all of them are idiots, because they actually believe that the rank and file, not the Berkeley Antifa weirdos and not the idiot actual white supremacists, but the normal people of America who just get up and go to work and read the news and so on, they actually believe you and I, not on one of the fringes, won't read the articles and won't realize, wait a minute, look at my own company. I don't make as much as she does, but she's a manager and I'm not, so I shouldn't. Or a young woman who just started should not make as much as a man who's been there for 15 years. And while she claims that it will be adjusted, we know from experience just in the last 15 to 20 years, God forbid the last 100, legislation is poisoned with amendment after amendment after amendment after amendment. It's even been parodied in the Simpsons movie, where Springfield is going to die. They're going to be destroyed. Actually, it wasn't the Simpsons movie. It was one of the, I believe, Treehouse of Horrors. But they're actually in Congress going to vote on a bill to save Springfield. And at the last second, a member jumps up and wants to add on, like, I believe, $100,000 for the pornographic arts. Bill is shot down. And that's actually normal process in Congress. And it shouldn't be, honestly. I don't care what side of the aisle you're on. If you don't like a bill, you don't jump up and say, "Yeah, let's tack on. Let's give $1 million to this group of people that everyone hates." And that way, everyone voting yes is now seen as evil. And you don't tack on earmarks and riders and amendments to your own bill to do things the bill is not about. You let the bill stand on its own. And the reason it's done is either to poison a bill or to put things into a law that would never pass on their own. And all of them know they do it. They know they put out stupid crap like this where they tug on your heartstrings that, oh, women are just horribly treated when they're not. In fact, the Wall Street Journal actually found that the happiest and most fulfilled women are conservative and normally wives and mothers. And That didn't go over well with the liberals, but that's another story. I've talked long enough. Let me know what you think in the comments. As always, keep it civil. We don't learn from argument, we learn from debate. Please also remember to like and share this video, as well as to subscribe and turn on notifications so that you're among the first to know of all new content as it is posted. Until next time, everyone have a wonderful day.